Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Last time we talked a little bit about the resistance, that force that make you procrastinate and that make you not do the things that you should do in your life. This is all from The War of Art, as I said, from Steven Pressfield. And this time we're going to pivot a little bit to the positive side of it, and that's the concept of the muse. Basically, if you would say it, is that gut feeling, that divine inspiration that we all felt at some points in our lives that make us do something that maybe not exactly logical, but that we believe we have to do because it's great for our lives. I think that the muse was something that actually propelled me to go and do the risk of going to entrepreneurship and changing. But I wanted to talk a little bit more about the concept and how to summon the muse. So what exactly is a muse? In my view, I would say it's that gut feeling, that non-logical push that you have sometimes in your life that makes you do decisions that are not exactly there already. Why is this essential for innovators in general, right? Mainly because a lot of the innovators, most of innovations, they don't have prior data before it. So you don't know if it's going to work, you don't know if it makes sense, and there's no way to find out if it's, even if the odds are good for you. So you do need to do those intuition-led points. Like the best innovators that I met, entrepreneurs and innovators, or that I studied, they all had points in their life they just say, okay, I just want to do this, even if it doesn't make any sense. And of course, I studied the ones that worked right. But in general, what I would say is that following your gut feeling will be right for you, even if the idea wasn't perfect in the beginning. Remember, if you're not thinking in the future, thinking like that, trying to innovate, you will be just reacting to whatever is happening to you. And reacting does not bring new things to bear. That's how I would frame it. Now, how did the muse actually came into my life, right? I would say that throughout my life, I always had this something that pushed me to do different stuff, right? So I left my hometown when I was 13 to go to another city to play tennis by myself. I actually spent in the last 12 years, I spent 10 years abroad in different places, trying to find new experiences. Like I've always been driven to do things differently. And I've always wondered like why I had that. But I remember that sometimes I thought it would be easier just to continue the path that I'm on, but I couldn't. It's just, there was something inside of me that was just pushing me to go do a different thing, something more innovative or building something different. This has not changed up until now, right? So I was in a great job. It was a very fun company. I loved everybody there. But there was that gut feeling that was always accompanying me throughout my life. At some points, I actually thought that could be a curse a little bit because you're always taking risks. You always, you are bothered, right? But nowadays, I think that that's actually something good because it is what pushes me forward, right? That's how I'm thinking now. Now, let's be practical here. How do we actually summon this whatever thing that is the muse, right? The book does say a couple of things that I agree. It helped in my life. I think that it's like three main things, right? First, you have to sacrifice to it. Second, you have to make space for it. And third, when it comes, you cannot let her go. Now, let me explain. First, what is sacrifice? Basically, you need to put in the work. Like it's not gonna happen if you don't put in the hours, put in the time thinking about your innovation. You reach this flow state for like 1 hour or two, but you have spent 10 hours thinking about it. If you don't sacrifice for the muse, I like that analogy, right? Sacrificing for it. you never get that flow state, you never get the gut feeling, the ideas. You need to be constantly thinking about what you want to do, and at some point it will come to you. Second, make space for it. Now, we are, I know most of you are as well, like very driven people, and driven people try to get busy because we like it. We like having structure, we like having a lot of things to do all the time, we like having work because we think that's meaningful, and we feel that we're progressing. However, in order to do creative work like this, to think out of the box, to build something different, you need to be bored. You need to have time in your agenda to think. I think the last one innovator that I saw that had that was Reed Racing for Netflix. I read his book. It's a really good book. Basically, he said that he had a lot of time because he was good at picking the people below him, and that he wanted that time to think of the really important decisions. And basically, he's making space to think, right? And I think that's essential if you want to do something different. And lastly, it's when it comes, grab her. So this is even a problem lately because whenever I'm inspired, it's normally at the end of the day, like 10 p.m., 11 p.m., and then I stay up to 2 a.m. doing the creative thinking work that I want to do. And that's stuff on my sleep. However, I do understand that those 2-3 hours are actually worth more than 40 hours of just trying to grind things out, right? So I do grab it when I have the push, when the muse comes to me. So I would urge you all to do the same. Now, let me indulge myself a little bit with another theme that I like a lot. It's like history and mythology. I'll give you a quick example of how the muse worked through someone's life. So I'm talking about Odysseus from the Odyssey. Basically, if you look at the whole history, the whole story about him is that he went on to this huge war at Troy. He spent 10 years sieging the city with a bunch of heroes that couldn't break the siege, right? They couldn't take the city. And then through inspiring move, cunning, but of course, Muse-like, out of the box thinking, he was the one that had the idea of the Trojan horse. So that made him win that war. And the continuation of the story is that he had the Odyssey, and that is his return back to Ithaca, his hometown. And that was 10 years of this huge adventure in which he had a bunch of circumstances that he had to use the muse, use the creative thinking to get out of trouble, mostly with, mythological beings that were way more powerful than him. I believe he's a good example. I think there will be a movie from Christopher Nolan about that I urge everybody to watch. It will be amazing, I hope. But the book itself is really good as well if you have the time to read or put on Audible. It's great to understand like very fundamental thing, and the end mythology is that, right? It's fundamental thing about humans. And in this case, I think it does translate a little bit to how creative thinking, cunning, and overcoming resistance is important for you to get to your objectives. Okay, so to summarize here, guys, you need the muse. We all do. Sacrifice for it, make space for it, for her, right? Make sure that whenever she comes, listen to it. So listen to your guts. You have to, like, that's how you make the decisions that actually make sense for your life. And please, again, as I said before, do read The War of Art. It's a great book. And if you have the curiosity, read the Odyssey. It's actually quite interesting as well. Have you guys ever had a moment that you did this gut feeling decision that in hindsight you think, I should have done that? If you do, please tell me in the comments. Let's continue talking. And thank you for watching. Next time, I'm gonna talk about what eats strategy for breakfast. So keep in the loop. Thank you.